Welcome back, horror fans, to the Week in Horror Podcast, the only podcast where the lucky ones die first. This week we're covering select horror films released from December 27th through January 2nd. Thank you so much for joining us on our final episode of 2020. I'm Eugene, and with me today is Johnny O and JL.
Well, that's supposed to be Johnny's salutation.
It is supposed to be my salutation. I apologize. My bad, guys. Hi, everybody. It's Johnny O. That's what happens when you forgot to pull the script up.
This is the joy of going live. Hi, everyone. Hey, horror fans out there. JL here.
God bless America. Give us a second while I get everybody back in the old show. Oh, man. This is good times. These are good times. See, this is what happens when internet goes crazy. I don't know what's going on. I think they're working on.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. My whole system just crashed on me. Not system, but the internet just crashed on me. I think they're working on. It's AT&T. They fucking suck.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So everybody dropped. It was just me in the little corner. I was all by myself, and I went and looked at OBS Ninja, and there was nobody in OBS Ninja. I was like, oh shit.
It's good now. We're good, right?
I hope so. I was trying to log in or trying to pull up the whatchamacallit on the old tubes just to make sure, and then I guess I shouldn't have pushed that button because everybody left.
Oh, no.
Well, it's still your line.
I know it. Here we go. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Just because he says we're still good.
Okay. Thank you, Jessica G. I apologize for my ineptness. I'm back. You can restart. We are restarted. Yeah, here we go. All right. Let's see here. Yes, for Weekend Horror Abattoir, we grabbed a content creator, someone who never watches horror films, give them the full Weekend Horror treatment, and whatever's left, we bring them in on to get their take on the horrors they saw.
Yes, and for this first Abattoir, we have YouTube personality, a great member of the debunking community, and a member of the Four Beardsmen of the Apocalypse. You know him, you love him. Irish fucking Demon is in the house.
Hey. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm a complete noob with horror movies. I do enjoy movies. I get mocked quite frequently for my lack of knowledge of movies, despite the fact that I actually did study film and TV production, which is kind of ironic, but that's a whole other story. Horror movies have never been something that I've kind of gotten into. I think the only horror movie I've ever watched was Wrong Turn, the first one. And thereafter, it just scares me too much, man. It freaks me out. So
He watches shit like this.
yeah, I'm that kind of guy. I'm that kind of guy that needs to get up and go to the toilet like 8 times. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? You know what gets me? Like, I'm just there. I'm trying to chill. I'm relaxing on the couch, and then somebody just like blah, 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 on the screen, and I'm like, all right, turn this shit off. I can't do this. This is too scary. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fun.
Awesome.
It's good stuff.
Before we jump into our previous week anecdote, let's take a look at who is in the chat. Who is joining us tonight? We've got Historical Philosopher is in the live chat. He was first in line. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Jessica G, the stream queen herself. Jessica has taken it upon herself to stream, and I'm talking motherfucking stream, horror marathons in the Weekend Horror Discord for our entire community. And I'm talking like 12 hours straight. So this girl she is kicking ass. She is one of the, she's been a supporter of Weekend Horror since the very, very beginning. And she loves bringing everything that she's got, her whole collection, straight to our Discord community. So if you want to check it out, join those big ass streams that we're talking. I mean, I think the next one she's showing all of the paranormal activities. So it's going to be fantastic. So definitely check those out. We've also got PhD Tony in the house, another member of the Four Beardsmen. Thank you, sir. Jeff Roberts, hello to you. And I hope everyone is going to have a happy holiday. Happy holidays to everybody. And Craft Tequila. There's Craft Tequila, and I wore my Black Phillip shirt for you, Crafty.
Yes.
I wore the Black Phillip shirt just for you because I know you love him. And then, of course, that's what we've got. So we'll see if anybody else pops along. This is going to be a lot of fun. So first things first, we do have a new patron. And it's so awesome because I literally just said her name. Craft Tequila, a new patron of the Week in Horror. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support big time. Your horror movies are coming to you soon. So I hope you do enjoy them. It's kind of a mystery grab bag, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you dig those. And we have another trivia prize to give away. I'm going to do everything I can to make this a regular thing for our live shows, is that we've got a limited edition shirt. And I think Eugene is wearing it right now.
Oh, yes, actually. So
You are. Let's see
like
this.
earlier today.
Yes.
Man.
So we are giving away to our trivia winner at the end of this. We will ask a trivia question, and to the winner of that, for the winner of that, we will get an official limited edition Week in Horror T-shirt. We will give that out before it leaves the Teespring store, probably for the future. We don't know, but I know it's leaving at the end of the month, so it's through the end of the year.
Can you make it leave? Can you make it leave after the beginning of next month, like 2 weeks into the next month?
You want me to hold it over?
Just for a little bit.
Oh, just for those people who get Christmas money?
Just for those people who want to buy one but can't get one right now at this very moment in time.
Let me ask the chat. There's not a lot of people in the chat. Let me ask them. Give me a 1 if I should increase the amount of time. Should I extend the limited edition Week in Horror shirt with the awesome artwork? Should I extend that? Or a 2 if the cutoff is the fucking cutoff? And you're SO
Don't be a Nathan Thompson, people.
What is it? So we got 1 if we extend right, and 2 if not?
1 if we extend it.
1 to extend, 2 to become Nathan Thompson's bed buddy.
Everybody, it looks like everybody's saying 1. All right then. So, were we saying 2 weeks?
Yeah, just so some people, not naming names, will have the opportunity to purchase one.
Okay. For anybody who's not able to purchase one now, but would like to, we will officially extend the time we have the limited edition Week in Horror shirt till the end of January. 1 more month.
One more month.
Sweet.
How's that sound? All right, cool. So we'll do that.
I was like, I'm excited. One more month.
One more month. We'll have it in our Teespring. And not just a T-shirt. You will also win one of our official Week in Horror coffee mugs.
I've got one of those.
Yes, you do. And I believe my friend, our friend Cody, who is kind of on the back end assistant to his show, Cody has also gotten one, and they look freaking amazing. Yeah, I love it to death. So
I have to say that there's only one cup that tastes almost as good. I mean, the coffee, when I drink coffee out of this cup, it almost tastes as good as when I drink coffee out of my Star Wars cups. That's saying something.
Sweet.
Almost as good. You're just like, I hear the screams of horror films.
Exactly.
It's almost as good as the skulls of my enemies.
Exactly.
Almost. So, but yes, we will be giving away a limited edition shirt and a Week in Horror coffee mug, official Week in Horror coffee mug. We will send those directly to you for the winner of tonight's trivia question. So I look forward to that. Man, oh man.
Don't miss out.
Don't miss out.
Yeah, don't miss out. Pay attention.
So I have to admit, because this is the Abattoir, because this is something new that we were doing, and I wasn't 100% sure how to kick this thing off. I wanted to start kind of easy. I didn't want to just take Irish Demon and throw him in the vat of blood like in House on Haunted Hill and just say,
you should have.
I probably should have, but I didn't. I gave him a kind of increasing extreme of movies. It started off really, 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 really easy, really soft, kind of like Goosebumps, Alone in the Dark style. And then it just increased. And there were 4 films. He watched all 4 of them. And this is going to be a lot of fun when we go down this thing. So What do you say we kick? What do you say, Johnny? What do you say we kick this pig?
Let's do it. Yeah, kick this pig. Very good. I like that.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah. I can't make a pig noise. Sorry. Here we go. Back in 1990, we had an American horror comedy anthology film called The Willies. It was written and directed by Brian Peck, starring Sean Astin.
Yes.
I never know how to. Is it Astin or Austin? I don't know. Whatever.
It's
Astin. Like he's an ass. He's an ass.
Yeah.
It is what, 3? No. How many? What is it? We got the prologue. We got Bad Apples. We have an interlude. We have Flyboy. The epilogue. So I guess really three stories with three.
Framing narrative.
Yeah,
three framing narratives. So
Yeah.
3 different. Go ahead. Yeah. 3 different shows. Let's see here. It starts out with Camping Out. We have Tennessee Fricassee, Haunted Estate, and Poodle Souffle. All kinds of fun stuff. Bad Apples, Flyboy. It's just when it comes to fun horror anthologies that you can show to your kids, the Willies is fun.
So, this was the first one that we gave to Irish Demon.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, ID, what was your takeaway on this one? Of the 4 that we watched.
Well, in a word, it was awful. Like the no, that's not quite fair. Yeah.
In a word, it was awful.
Look, the first
That's more than a word.
actually. Yeah, it's a good point. I gotta say, right, the stories were brilliant, right? So the first story was so first there was the kids in the forest. That was I was a child actor, so I mean, as an actor, that was awful. Like the acting was atrocious. Like, hey, little Jimmy kind of stuff, and it was it was horrible. But then the first story was actually acted quite well. The boy in school with the custodian turning into this like child-eating monster and stuff like that. I felt like the teacher was unnecessarily cruel. She was a horrible woman, but when she got dragged up through the vent and the blood started pissing down, I was like, "Yep, this is my kind of movie. I like this." It was a good soft start, I gotta say. I thought the guy who played the custodian was absolutely brilliant. I thought he did an awesome job. He just hit the nail on the head with it. Then there was the Flyboy story. At first, I was like, "What in the name of God is going on here?" But I actually really got into it.
I have to ask. That kid was fucking extreme. Like that, like the
Gordy was.
Was that not creepy as fuck?
Oh man, he was a beast. Like Gordy was that kid's name, and like he was badass, man. Like he did not care what anybody thought. He was like, yeah, he was just like, even his dad was like this horrible guy calling him a fat boy. He was just based. Am I allowed to swear in this show?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah,
What?
he was like,
Can you watch your fucking mouth? This is a fucking kids show.
yes, sir. But
Fucking
yeah, his
hell.
dad was like, "Oh, this fat little shit is never going to amount to anything." The kid just started, he's basically just like, "Fuck you, Dad. I'm gonna go play with my flies, motherfucker." But yeah, it was a weird story. The production quality was much better than I thought it would be. Now the monster in the first scene was a bit, obviously, not very good in terms of what would you say, the graphics or whatever. Was it a graphic or was it? I wasn't sure if it was like stop motion or puppet or what.
That was actually a combination puppetry and actually an actual person. So whenever you saw the head and kind of like the neck and the torso of it, that was all done. Because if you'll notice, there were moments when you saw the body but you couldn't see the arms. It was just kind of there. It was like that was puppetry. But in close-ups, you had the head, which was still the puppet, and then you had somebody underneath it. Like off frame with their arms done up to look like the monster, so that you still get like the finger articulations, and it makes it look more real.
We call that practical effects.
Yes, it was all practical.
Okay. Yeah, I actually kind of liked it.
Even when Gordy had his arm, when Gordy had his arms chewed off by the
that was awesome.
by the giant fly.
It was kind of funny though, because when he got his arms chewed off, it was so clear that he was just like this. Like you could literally see like his it's like Gordy. It's like how did your kids get so big so fast, dude? But yeah, it was no, overall it was really fun. It was a really fun movie. And you know what? The interesting thing about it is finding a kid like that in those days would not have been easy. Like in the early 90s, kids just weren't that big either, and certainly not confident enough to act like that. So I thought he did an awesome job. I don't know if was his speech impediment real or was that acted. I'm not sure.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I wasn't able to find any details on it. I think it was so natural. The kid's either like super talented but I honestly thought that was the way that was his own speech impediment.
Yeah.
Which the thing is, if he acted that, that's really good. If we're like, we don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Because like, what I liked about that as well was, and similarly to the, oh my god, my brain has gone numb. What was the one with the guys in the forest jail?
Oh,
the Night Feeders, was it?
Oh, that was the
Night Feeders.
Yeah, so similar to that, I like the fact that the main characters were just very real. Like, you know, an overweight kid with a speech impediment rather than just your typical Hollywood-looking kid. The same with the other one, you know, the kind of semi-illiterate, older Southern guy turning out to be the hero at the end of it all. It's just a nice change from, like, you know, that chiseled Hollywood look, essentially. So I know that's not the horror movie element of it, but I actually like that it was a little bit different. But yeah, I really, really like that one.
I did like in the Bullies one, in the Bad Apples one, is that I know the minute you watch that, you messaged me that this kid Danny is a beast. He just fed his enemies to this,
and he just stood there.
He slips out of the bathroom and then he pushes the locker over to block the door so they can't get out. It
was the water fountain, He pushed
the water
over
fountain. That is fucking
and the kid
hardcore.
Is like, that's cool. He's like, please, Danny. And Danny's like, oh yeah, fucking enjoy that, bitch. Tie me up now, bitch. And so I was like, oh my god, this is pretty brutal. And then they did this close cut into his face and he's just like completely like stony. And I'm like, what a beast, man. That kid's a beast. But that story was fun, actually. And I like that it all took place in a really small set. It reminded me of my stage days where you have like very little room to work with. And the three bullies that they chose, it was like they pulled bullies straight out of like Saved by the Bell or something. And it was like, hey, what does a bully wear? And it's like, that was a bit cringe. But like, you know, it's like the bully with the fucking like skull and crossbones shirt from like Toy Story or whatever. But other than that, it was fun. It was really, really fun. I'm guessing it didn't have a huge budget, did it?
Well, it was hard to find some information on the film. I don't think. Yeah, there was. I'm assuming a small budget.
So the thing that got me, well, I'm glad that you enjoyed at least parts of it, though. Yeah, but
I
wanted to start you off kind of. So I wanted to throw you a softball. So the one thing that struck me and what got me on this is that, and it leads to some questions because I wasn't able to actually find a ton of behind the scenes information about this because there had to have been some sort of like marketing or marketing strategy utilized because number one, it's got Sean Astin in it. So he's like at the time that he's post Goonies. He's already got a bunch of work on his belt, and he's related to John Astin, who was the original Gomez in the Addams Family, same family. So Sean Astin is there. He's obviously the biggest name star that they've got. And then of course, there's a couple other individuals we see them crop up. We've seen them just be roster actors here and there. But the thing that got me was in the
Didn't they have Kirk Cameron in it?
In the Gordy story, yes. In the Flyboy story, fucking Growing Pains shows up. So like he was like because he's having a dream and he dreams that that he sees an episode of Growing Pains on the TV and then Kirk Cameron and Tracy Gold from the show are there. So they cast them to be in this. And at one point, Kirk Cameron, directly addresses it through the television. And so maybe it was a timing thing, or I'm not sure. They attached the names to these because at the time, Growing Pains was a massive show on television. So I thought that was weird, having that kind of cross promotion thing. And I couldn't find anything behind why they would do that other than to try and just market the film a little bit better. Yeah. But it did not get past me, the joke, because at the beginning of the movie, during the framing narrative, they're trying to tell gross out stories and gross each other out. And Sean Astin says, "I've got one to tell you, but I don't think you're gonna. I don't think you're gonna believe it." And he's like, and the other kid is like, "Oh, it's not that one where you and your friends found that pirate ship in a cave, is it?"
Yeah.
So, and I was like, I had to stop, and be like, "Hey, yeah."
Yeah.
I mean, given the time, this was a few years after the Goonies. So I'm just kind of it was just weird seeing these individuals show up in a film like this. So established names, which was odd.
There was one part in it. I don't know if it was like intentionally bad or what, but where the lady eats the fried rat and it starts like zooming in and out of her head. Was that overly dramatic, intentionally bad, I wonder, or was it just a poor choice?
No, that's a throwback to literally
early
old
movies?
school, like to early films, to early horror films, where it would be the like that whole thing where the camera kind of comes in. It's just an old throwback technique.
So it was something. It's weird looking at it now, but back then, because it makes all these callbacks, and these references are super fresh at the time, and then to us it's like it's weird because the older the film gets, the less people will actually get the reference. Because I'm pretty sure there might be people listening to our podcast who've never seen Growing Pains. And
this is true.
Now
they just know Kirk Cameron because of his Ray Comfort, bananas thing.
Yeah, the whole
Kirk Cameron because of his everybody's got to believe in Jesus.
So, but yeah, at the time, and Kirk Cameron was.
He's doing different kinds of horror films now.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
But yeah, at the time, he was legit like one of the biggest TV stars out there. Pretty much one of the controlling interests on that show, Growing Pains. So it's it was strange, and I really do. And at the time that this came out, because this is 1990 when this hit, and anthology films were kind of a thing. They'd become a thing in the 80s. It was like, let's tell multiple stories and have the framing narrative. And this became more common because as technology got better, we could set up we could set it up visually better because cameras got better and you could move. And as productions got more technical and more advanced, they were able to do it a lot more efficiently. So we got more of them. And of course, horror stories are always like Tales from the Dark Side. The movie also came out in 1990.
It did seem like it was a decade of the anthology.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that this one, while it was very Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
It seemed a lot like that Erie, Indiana, and what was the other one? It came on right after Erie, Indiana. It was supposed to be a little bit more serious.
Oh, it's been so long. It was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
So, and yes, Sir
anyway,
Little Wolf, Sir Little Wolf says in the chat, stuff like, Creepshow 2, all of these.
You got things like Cat's Eyes,
Cat's Eye,
Stories, Twilight Zone the movie. Like you just had this thing of just these anthologies that just came out. They were just big. They kind of trailed off kind of in the early 90s. And I like to say maybe with as more short films became more available out there, a lot of these could be separate things and there could be a little market for it because with these anthology films, it's like you can come up with a story, but you don't know if you can flesh it out for an entire 90-minute feature. And so that way you can go like, okay, well, I can do 3 or I can do 4 20-minute films or 4 30-minute films, have a little narrative. The cat goes from house to house or something like that. They kind of tie it together. That way I get these little snippets of these little stories versus one story, one group of characters. You have to follow them all the way through. So that's why I'm a fan.
That's a big thing because for any people interested in the chat or any of our listeners out there interested in filmmaking, the best thing about anthologies, the reason they were so popular, and you definitely because is that it's also a matter of budgeting and scheduling, because scheduling people for an entire film that you shoot for it's going to be like an hour and a half to 2 hours long. You're basically sucking up people's time for almost a month to 2 months. And everybody's got to be on point. Everybody's got their schedules, and it can be the logistics of that can be very, very hard. When you do an anthology, that means you have set individuals for your framing narrative, and the framing narrative is only like 20 minutes, which means I only need them for like a 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Okay, and I can space those out. And even if the framing narrative is very limited, that means I'm shooting on one set, and I've got these guys, they've got their lines, and I'm only shooting at like 1 or 2 angles. Like in this particular one, that whole framing narrative with the 3 kids in the tent, and then the dad, the dad comes in and checks on them at the end. That was a dark set. That was one location, one tent, one camera with some zoom ins to get your close ups, and that's it. And as long as the kids know their fucking lines, you're solid. You can knock that out in a week, and then you can just let those kids go, and then you can work on your next one. And this makes budgeting and scheduling very, very easy. So.
It does, because a lot of times if you want big names, say like Kirk Cameron at the time, actors get paid by the day.
Yes.
So every X amount of days. So you can keep his stuff to 1 day of filming. He can come in, knock out all his lines. You save so much on budget stuff. So much. And in a lot of these films, like some of them maybe even use like multiple directors, or they'll have like a second unit, so they can even be filming maybe 2 of these stories at the same time, and it works because they're not using the same sets, they're not using the same actors. Yeah. And so some films will do one at a time, sometimes other films will do it at the same time.
Oh yeah, and given the fact that the growing pains shot just for that very, very small scene when he's looking at the television in his nightmare. That was on the set. So most likely the producers of this one were probably producers or executive producers on the actual TV show. And if that's all you really have to do is just catch them, because not every, even though you're maybe scheduled to go a certain amount of time, a lot of times on a TV set, you may not use all that time because something may get delayed or something, or you may finish early. You knocked it all out. So you can work in those kind of open spaces an opportunity to film something else, and that can fall into that day. If you can fit that into that day, boom, then you just got to pay them for the work they, especially if the production company is the same. You can fit that into that paycheck and be like, you're going to be credited for this. Maybe we'll give you a little bonus, but you can feel given that makes it super, super easy, and also reduces budget, because a movie like this is not going to be not going to see a huge ROI. The return on investment is not going to be big. It's just going to be, there you go. Oh, hey, look, it's Kirk Cameron. This is popular. And then it may spread a little bit of word of mouth, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, exactly. If they're sitting there, they're spending, say, $500,000 or say $1 million to make it. If they come back and turn around $3 or $4 million, they're going to be happy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially on something like that. That's, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a run and shoot, but it's definitely a very quick production.
Yeah.
It's interesting, actually. I looked into one of the movies on this lineup that I actually really, really enjoyed was Ghost in the Machine. And I just did a bit of brief research into it. And they lost a lot of money. They lost like $7 million on this on that movie. I was really surprised by that because I thoroughly
you didn't think they spent $7 million on that movie?
Oh, no, they spent 12 million on it, and they only got 5 back. And I was like, dang, that's actually a really good movie in my opinion. But Rotten Tomatoes gave it 10 or 11%.
Yeah, there's something to that as far as what you can do on the back end. So it's box office when it first released probably only saw that, but there is still life for technically, because on DVD sales or on residuals, whatever store picks up and continues to play it, there is still a generation there. So over time, it may actually break even, but it may take 10 years for it to do it.
Yes, yeah. It says here that it's by the end of the run, it grossed $5 million. So yeah, the first opening on the opening weekend was nearly $2 million, which actually isn't bad for a smaller movie, I guess. But Yeah, damn, they would have lost a lot of money. I'd say it would be hard to recoup, $7 million over the years, but I was surprised it was made in 1993. Actually, I thought the quality was really good.
But yeah, in a film like this first one, this anthology, if you can attach somebody to it, if you can, like if your production company happens to be like, hey, we've also got our fingers over in this one, maybe we can sneak over a big name and we can throw it in here. So that always helps, and you can pretty much just go word of mouth. But anthologies are really, really cool like that. You especially when you bring in multiple directors, because that does happen sometimes. You get a taste of different directors, different directorial styles, different groups that come together like that, and I love it when that happens because it definitely adds a bit more variety to what you're watching and keeps everything fresh.
Bit of flavor. Yeah. I like it.
My favorite non-horror anthology was Four Rooms.
Oh god, that movie's so amazing.
It's so great, yeah. Eli Roth Tim Roth, fucking idiot. Tim Roth really glues. Yeah, that's a big fuck up. But Tim Roth really glues that whole movie together.
Just when Quentin Tarantino's explaining that shit to him, he's just
he chops that finger and just fucking takes off with the money.
Take the money and walk the fuck out.
Yep, that's so great. Speaking of, so this is our call to action to the audience. What is your favorite horror anthology? Let us know in the side chat, or if you're watching this post or listening to it on the podcast, you can email us at weekendhorror@gmail.com.
So let's real quick. So Eugene, what is your favorite horror anthology of all of them? What's the one that you go back to?
Oh, the one I would probably go back to is probably Cat's Eye.
Oh god, it was so good.
I like all the stories in it. I liked it, even though the frame narrative is just a cat, and I just like Stephen King as a whole. Yeah. So I would go Cat's Eye. That's one that comes to mind.
Sweet. What about you, Johnny?
I don't know. Maybe the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone the movie?
I don't know. Yeah.
You want to see
even those retellings?
Scary?
For me, it's my favorite horror anthology is the Willies because it's the only one I've ever seen.
Ooh, Sir Little Wolf is in the chat. Trilogy of Terror.
Trilogy of Terror, yeah. And I was also thinking Tales from the Hood, the first one, not the second or the third one.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Very nice, very nice. I still have a very, very dear to my heart love. I have a deep love for Tales from the Dark Side.
That was actually going to be my second choice.
Tales from the Dark Side. That anthology was amazing. It fit perfectly with the show itself. The effects were amazing, especially the Black Cat episode. So great, and I mean I loved all three of them. And of course, little Danny. What was it? Joey Lawrence. Was it young Joey Lawrence?
Yes.
I freaking loved it. So yeah, that's what I go back when I see it. I was like, oh, I'm watching this shit. So. Yeah, definitely good stuff.
Damn it, basic trigonometry. Let me go get my hat.
Does Johnny O look like he has go-go? Man, for those who are listening to the audio of this, Johnny O typically has a Texas Rangers ball cap that he wears. He is not currently wearing it, and he does kind of look like he does. What was that? What was that baby character that just had the hair and the spots? Anyway, but yeah, I'm assuming he's going to go get his hat now.
I fixed it.
There it goes.
He kind of looked like Krusty the Clown. Johnny O.
You kind of look like Krusty the fucking Underpants.
Krusty the
You look like Krusty Underpants.
All right, Krusty the Smegma.
You look like Krusty Nathan Thompson's best friend. Ooh.
Eugene, what do we have up next, man?
Take that back.
All right. Actually, the next one is yours.
It's yours, Jail.
Yeah, sorry, I actually moved.
Who's fucking up the script now?
Yo, you got two fuck ups tonight.
No, I only had one fuck up. It was just a really big fuck up.
On to our next movie. Yes, so released. God damn it, if I could fix my fucking shit. Oh, yes, released December 29th, 1993. We have the techno horror film Ghost in the Machine. I know that Irish Demon really, really enjoyed this one. Directed by Rachel Talalay and written by William Davies and William Osborne, starring Chris Mulkey, Ted Marco, Rick Dukeman. Oh, I miss him. He was so funny. And Karen Allen. Yes,
Yeah.
Marion Ravenwood from the Indiana Jones series with red hair. It was interesting to see that. All starred in this little techno thriller about a serial killer who, on his way to kill Karen Allen's character, winds up crashing his car in the rain because it's storming outside. Crashing his car, gets picked up, taken to the hospital, stuck in an MRI machine, and through the magic of evil lightning, the whole place is struck by lightning, and he dies in the MRI machine, and his consciousness, his soul, is transferred into the computers, where it then proliferates and utilizes like electric, I guess broadband connections to get into places and kill people in the most ridiculous of manners. Just some of this, the fucking hand warmer, the hand dryer in the bathroom turned into a flamethrower. It was
That was so cool.
I actually didn't expect that shit because he's just like, he survived the car, he survived all this, and all of a sudden he's like, okay, I'm coming. Boom, wham, flames. So, but yeah, the serial killer proceeds to kill everybody because he's called the address book killer. So he'll stalk somebody and steal their address book, kill everyone in their address book, and then kill them. Horribly inefficient serial killer. But that's
it does seem like you have to have an address book, which means that you wouldn't do so well nowadays because people don't really carry them things.
You can have like your contacts on your phone, but people have like 200 contacts
Screen
on their
locks?
phone instead of like,
right?
Yeah, and it would be easy for him to like find everybody because of like tracking on social media, like Snapchat. You can see where everybody is, so he could get it all banged out in one night, no problem. Just go like just all night long.
Well, see, you can unlock their phone if they have like the thumbprint or the facial recognition.
Exactly.
So when they're dead, you can pull the phone up to their dead face, like open an eye and be like, facial recognition.
So the one big thing that I found super interesting about this one is that everybody remembers when they were doing the kind of like the viewpoint, traveling through the kind of internet, the I guess the computer environments, when they were like traveling through that shit. And it looked almost identical to another film, which is the film Hackers. And Hackers actually, or this movie predated Hackers, so we could see, and I love that we can see the progression of the technology of actual CG, of actual computer-generated technology as it was progressing. So this was an early one. The one thing they knocked out of the park, which I was really impressed by, because this was 1993, and facial mapping technology, basically taking an image of someone's face and wrapping it onto a wireframe. To make it 3D in virtual space. That wasn't very good at the time because we're looking at like PlayStation 1 graphics here. And it was surprisingly
PlayStation 1 graphics were the shit in 1991.
You need to take the out of the middle of that.
I was quite impressed by this. But we handed this one. This one was a little bit more extreme, a little bit more violent, a little bit more like gruesome kills in this one. Irish Demon. What did you think? What was your takeaway?
I really enjoyed this one. I thought the imagery was really good. Like the quality was obviously way higher in this show. The car crash scene was crazy. The way he was laughing as he went down the embankment is so creepy, man.
He flips the car and is sliding on the roof of the car. Like
and he's like and I'm like, this guy is awesome. And there's one like chilling moment where the kid goes to open the book and he's like, don't touch that, you might get shocked. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking terrifying. But I like my favorite murder scene of the whole lot is the one where they find the guy with his neck cut and all the blood, and he punches the photo frame and takes the photo out and puts it in his book. And what I thought was really cool about that, how on each page there was still like fresh blood on all of those pages. I just thought that was really, really cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed that part. That was pretty epic. And then the microwave part was pretty cool.
The microwave scene, I remember that one.
Yeah.
You look at it because a lot of us are also where we do content in the debunking community, so we look at it from a scientific angle. You got to wonder what the fuck the electrons were doing in that kitchen, just
in order to get that to happen.
In order to get that effect.
It's electrostatics.
Well, it was like
it was like
the microwave opened, like as it exploded open, and then the whole room turned into a microwave.
Yeah, exactly. It was like
Yeah.
it was projecting microwaves out,
Like,
but at like NORAD levels, like fucking take out a satellite kind of fucking. Like, here's the thing, right? I don't know where he got his microwave from. I don't know where this guy got his microwave from, but my microwave can't even defrost ice. I mean, it is literally useless. I want whatever he had.
how the fuck did it? I mean, that's like what's that like? I don't even know how many watts. I'm not even gonna try to guess. All I know
About
is it was like
800.
he turned.
It's not the watts; it's the amperage.
But he turned a basic kitchen
All right,
microwave,
Ted,
which wasn't even that complex, into a fucking directed microwave weapon.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
Like military grade.
it took 15 minutes to cook these popcorn last night. And I'm like, hold on a second. This guy's just like, and everything in the room just gets fried. And I'm like, I can't even make myself a Hot Pocket because it takes so fucking long. I would be quicker going out and picking my own potatoes. I'd have to go, like, it would be quicker for me to pick my own potatoes and skin a chicken than it would to actually cook something in my microwave.
Well, at least we can be certain that he probably was still ice cold in the center.
Yes. Yeah.
I just face melted off because even like he goes to, and it like after it opens, because usually microwaves have that shut off, so as soon as you open it, it like shuts off completely, but somehow it opens, explodes in his face, electricity goes through like pots and pans and stuff like that hanging around, and
It was
Yeah,
wild.
I'd say it was somewhat scientifically inaccurate.
just a little bit.
Just a hair.
Okay.
I mean,
I think when the hand dryer in the bathroom like turned into a flamethrower.
yeah, like where did the fuel come from?
Where did the fuel come from?
Yeah.
I was like,
in order to simply blow the heat like flames out of the thing, then it would have to be like sun temperatures, like Kelvin.
Yeah.
Like he would have to create fusion.
Yeah, it was.
And warmer.
Because it's not like this thing warmed up and then all of a sudden blasted him. No, he literally hit the button. He turned the nozzle to face him. Why? I guess he was turned like normally you have your hands under it, but he like turned it up.
Don't we all dry our faces with a fucking hair dryer?
He like turned it up to face him at him, and he just hit the button, and like fucking aliens, and then he was toast.
I am now afraid to use a hair dryer. Like, I mean, I'm sure we all like use the hair dryer to dry the boys, like after a shower or whatever.
I'm afraid to use my dishwasher. Did you see how much water came out of the dishwasher?
That was unbelievable. That might explain why the sea levels are going up. Oh wait, no, that'd be the other way around.
And then he changes the words of the dishwasher to like, what is it? Agitate? Angela and I watches together, and Angela was like, agitate. The fucking dishwasher is jumping around like a Dalek.
It made me think of when you have anime characters killed and they have like gallons upon gallons of blood.
Yes.
Like, there's no amount of blood. There's no reason this person should have so much blood on it.
I work in maintenance, and I'm sitting here, I'm watching this friggin' dishwasher. I'm like, okay, so the dishwasher's leaking soap now. Well, that means she put soap in it instead of dishwashing detergent. But now it's pouring out. And then all of a sudden, the fucking the water starts spreading all. I was like, how much water is in this damn thing? All the water starts spreading all over the floor, and obviously it's setting up for her to get electrocuted.
Well, wouldn't it run until it hits the fill point, like the little sensor that says we're full?
Eventually, at a point, there is a point where it will shut off. But apparently, he turned that off with his magic
electrostatics.
Electrostatics. There you go. And then the dishwasher explodes. And I guess it was I don't fucking know. The valve must have been the size of the fucking dishwasher itself. Because
would it be fair to say that we might be slightly looking into this too much?
Yes. When he starts
answer a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the chat, Jessica G says men use hair dryers to dry off their scrotum. Well, in my case, it's scrotums or scroti. But yeah, sometimes you got
You
to
have
use
more
the
than
hairdryer.
one sack? Dude, you might want to get that looked at.
I have a string of sacks. Doesn't everybody?
You might want to get that looked at.
We'll talk about that later. Check out my OnlyFans. But yeah, I got caught drying my balls with a hairdryer. The missus asked me, "What are you doing?" Apparently, heating up your dinner was not the right answer.
She was bad, but worth it.
I gotta say, my back still hurts from the couch.
So I have to say that despite that, this was 1993 when this came out, and obviously the CGI was not that advanced. When he starts like streaming himself into reality, and then like using the wireframe to put himself together, and then mapping himself onto it I thought it was like this probably would have looked really, really sweet 20 years from now when they like in the late 2000s they could have done something really cool. They do the best of what they can. This is what it was. But unfortunately, the techno, I think what hurt this one, and Irish mentioned it, that the film did not make a ton of money on the back end. Obviously I rented the film, so I gave him some money, but $5 million loss. It's pretty epic, especially for one with some, at the time, were some high B roster and low A roster actors in it, and just because I think techno horror was on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you had a couple that came out, and but with techno horror, it just kind of came and went really fast. Because usually when you have genres will go through. So you have a genre, you'll have the
Well, it
genre.
was bad.
Yeah, it was just something. It was something. I don't feel like CGI and filmmaking techniques were able to accurately really showcase what people were trying to do.
Right.
Because, like we were talking about with the wireframing of where he came out, it looks bad.
Yeah.
And maybe if it was something, like maybe if this genre came out 10 years later or 15 years later, but the problem is people are focusing more on the internet.
Yep.
The internet and AI and all sorts of kind of stuff.
I think the big thing that may have hurt it was because if we go all the way back, let's jump all the way back to when the leaps in major technology were not that quick. They came typically every, like, I would say probably 10 to 20 years. So there was a period of time when before nuclear power, then all of a sudden World War II, nuclear power, the horrors of the atomic bombs, and then all of a sudden we get the radiation mutates things. It changes DNA. It's like this. Ooh, then we get the nuclear monster genre, giant ants, giant lizards, giant spiders, like that. With that kind of, so that technology, the birth of nuclear warfare gave birth to the nuclear monster genre. I mean, all kaiju films, all that, Godzilla. We got that one. Sir Little Wolf is chastising. I said, "No speak on Lawnmower Man." We're not there yet.
Well, but that is part of that whole techno horror thing.
And then but technology began to ramp up so fast that you can only address. So the internet was a big scary thing, and so there were a bunch of like internet horror films, like you don't know who you're talking to. The person who you may not be able to see them, they might be able to see you because you don't know the technology that well. And Lawnmower Man fell more into like the idea of like when virtual reality was beginning to become a thing. Unfortunately, that was about the time that like
Lawnmower Man actually came out a year before Ghost in the Machine.
Yeah, it was 1992. But I mean, the biggest,
the same kind of techno horror though.
But the biggest advent in virtual reality at the time was the kind of same structure we saw in Ghost in the Machine, where it was like a big platform, you're strapped in, and then you have the big helmet on, and you're pretty much just moving like this. Before that, it was pretty much the Virtual Boy, the migraine inducer.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about the little red thing that you put on the desk and.
Well, no, it was the helmet thing with the little red thing.
No, he's right. Eugene's right.
So it utilized the idea of virtual reality and the kind of unknowns of that. But technology began to ramp up so quickly that I don't think the film genre, that the subgenre, could catch up with it. They couldn't dump enough movies because as attitudes towards online communication, the internet itself, the kind of unknowns of that, as this whole new era of technology was opening up, wireless communication, like that. I mean, when cell phones came out, everybody has a smartphone. Then we got a smartphone horror. So as this continues on, I don't think they were able to pump out enough movies, and I think it came out a hair too late. Because by the time this came out, Technology had already advanced beyond this. Virtual
You know,
reality
the
was
best-
crap, but it still looked better than what we saw in this movie.
The best scary-ish type film dealing with technology was The Net. And that wasn't even really a scary, it was a thriller, but not a scary movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they were ahead enough that when people started watching it, it was actually really relevant at the time. Because it touched on growing fears about the dangers of the internet, what it could do, and how people could, hack this, that, and the other, and crash an airplane and make somebody else completely disappear and all that shit.
Yeah, like in 1996, the movie Hackers. They did that exact same
and
thing.
you had hackers, yeah.
Which is, first of all, personal favorite. I love that movie growing up on top of it. But also at the same time, it takes an average of 2 years to make a feature.
Yep.
From like, I'm going to write a script, it hits the theater, about 2
Right.
years. So if you're writing about something that's current, it may be dead and gone by the time the film actually comes out.
Yep.
Especially with technology.
That's why you have these trends.
Yeah.
especially-
As soon as the film hits, the technology's already surpassed that. So when Hackers hit, they were lauding over like a million colors on this, a million colors and a 28.8 bps modem. By the time that film actually hit, they were already, I think it was already 2 gens past that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it was a laptop, so wow, that's kind of cool because it's a laptop, it's a portable one. But a million colors is like, no, because the Super Nintendo does 16. So there was kind of like that. I don't think that techno horror had kind of had a moment when technology was not ramping up every 5 years or every 2 years. Because nowadays it's every year there's like a brand new upgrade to our cell phones, and I've got to look at upgrading my computer every 6 freaking months. There's no way that there's no way the subgenre and what Eugene mentioned, the logistics of making a movie. There's no way that could keep up. That it could keep up. It's got to move on to the next thing. Otherwise, it comes.
Well,
down
but
to
here's the thing. So here's the thing, and that a lot of these technology-based movies that they're doing is they are looking at they recognize, like filmmakers or people who write this, they recognize how quickly this stuff happens, so they're able to keep that in mind when they go to write their films, and they're able to maybe not necessarily predict what's going to come out, but they have a decent idea. Like right now, we've got we got the iPhone 12, whatever the bullshit is out now, and then we know in 2 years it's going to be something new and something snazzy. So we can take what we know and the trends that have happened, and we can build on that. So they're getting a little better when it comes to being a little more in line when they come out of current fear and whatnot. Like if you look at Invisible Man, that's a good example of taking. And that's a huge leap, right? So we don't exactly have that stealth-ish type technology out, but it's something that could happen. We could figure that out. You know what I mean?
I felt about that one like I felt when I first saw Iron Man. First time I was like, holy shit, Iron Man is possible. Like it's possible to build a suit. The only difference is, I was like, when you suddenly realize, no, going at Mach speeds and all of a sudden stopping, he would be paced inside that can. There's no such thing as an inertial dampener. That's Star Trek. But yeah, like Invisible Man, that blew my mind. So I was like, oh, he used some serum to do it. It's like, no, it's a badass military suit that makes you undetectable. I was like, oh, that was so impressive. That suit was pretty badass.
Yeah, that suit is pretty badass.
I guarantee you, there's a think tank somewhere, a military group somewhere that's looking into that to see if it's possible.
They've been trying to do that. They've been trying to do that.
They've been trying to do that for decades.
Yeah, absolutely. But the one
that's why Eugene is black.
Go ahead, Eugene.
The one I go to, we talk about like failing trends and everything like that, is Saturday Night Fever. When they actually went and shot and edited everything like that, and the director had it in the backseat of his car, he drove past an 18-wheeler, and on the side of it, it said, "Disco is dead." On his way to the premiere, and he's like, this movie's gonna flop. Disco's done, and we just invested millions upon millions of dollars of film that's in the backseat of my car. I think it's done. And the movie was successful, but it's hard to predict.
Yeah, chasing trends is very, very dangerous, especially in the filmmaking when nothing is guaranteed. You no matter how popular it might be, you're not guaranteed to make a return. As we've seen right now, you never know what's going to happen, especially with the current situation, the log allergy going on. You put out a freaking movie. We see everything pretty much going digital. Now they're trying to eke it back to the theaters, but that's kind of it. I mean, they're going full digital releases nowadays in order to try to get that ROI. Because going to the theaters now, no, the box office is not going to be there. So, but I kind of dig it. I like not having to go to the theater, pay $12 for a freaking large soda just so I can watch a movie. No, I like the cool new kind of digital release thing.
I'm 50-50 on it. Like, I understand the convenience, and I hate the fact that theaters are like stupid expensive because for two people it's like $50. But at the same time, I like the ability to escape and you can watch movies without distractions. I think so many people, they'll throw a movie on while they're on their phone and they're on the computer, so they're only half paying attention.
Yeah.
Versus being able to sit and focus and really enjoy a film the way it was intended to be watched.
Yeah, so there are certain movies that I would specifically... I never went to the theater a lot in my 20s and early 30s. Even now. There were certain movies, though, that I made sure that this is a movie I'm going to take the time to go see in a theater. Like the Star Wars films or... I can't even remember the last... Outside of Star Wars, I don't remember the last movie I said, man, I have to go see it in the theaters. Everything else, like, fuck it, I'll wait till it comes out on DVD or free television or whatever and watch it there. But yeah, I like I do, like having that, well, man, because of the experience of going to the theater, you know what I mean?
It is a fun experience. I do enjoy it. I think I will enjoy it in the future when we can go back to the theater safely. But I have to admit, I really dug queuing up The Invisible Man, queuing up The Hunt. I'm going to watch Love and Monsters. Just queuing these films up in the privacy of my own home. I can have my own food. I don't have to pay exorbitant prices in order to have good food while I'm at the theater, like a Studio Movie Grill or anything like that. I don't have to worry about people on their phones, people talking. I can't tell you because I never went to the movie theaters often, but when I did, it was for a big movie. So I went to go see The Dark Knight, and wound up having to almost smack 3 people because they couldn't get off their fucking phones. They couldn't quit yammering while Heath Ledger's trying to give one of the best performances I've ever seen. So the respect for it is just not there anymore. But who knows? Having talked about this, Technohorde, I will say this. Sir Little Wolf said, you mean it's better than Hollow Man? And yes, the new Invisible Man is way better than Hollow Man. Although Hollow Man was good in its own right. It was.
I mean, Hollow Man did have Kevin Bacon in it.
Yes, Kevin Bacon can make a good... Kevin Bacon's a solid actor. I enjoy watching him. And I like what he can bring to a villain. I like it when he goes dark. And Hollow Man was solid. He starts off, kind of like the egotistical asshole, and then turns into a fucking slasher. So because he went insane because of the drugs they were giving, whatever. But I enjoyed Hollow Man. I liked what they did with it. It was at the time
he went insane because he was drunk on power. That's why he went insane.
True. Well, I think I think also not being able to really sleep because he could see through his eyelids. And so with the light and everything, fucking with his sleep schedule, I think it was a number of stress factors. But I really dug it because what they were able to do with green screen technology in that, I thought was very impressive for the time that came out. That really was kind of like, oh shit, they can really, especially when they have him green screened out, and then of course when they put the latex on him, and you can see the back of the latex mask through the front of the latex, through the eye hole. I was like, that's pretty impressive shit. So. Really, really good stuff there. So I want to ask the listeners, and probably you guys, what is y'all's favorite tech horror, like techno horror of all of them that come out? What is your favorite? What's the one that always draws you back? You see it on, and you want to watch it again. Let us know in the chat, comments, or hit us up, weekendhorror@gmail.com. Eugene, what's your favorite tech horror?
Ooh. Probably, I don't know why Cry Wolf just popped in my mind. I was like, let me think of a good one, and then Cry Wolf popped in my mind. That talks about the internet and everything like that. Oh, I maybe have to go. Come back to me. I'm thinking about it.
I don't come to me. I have no idea.
You what?
I
have
can't.
one.
I think I know what yours
Tech
is.
horror.
I think I know
I
what
think
yours
it's
is.
not
Not what you think.
Go ahead.
It's
Well,
not what you think.
what do you got?
My
Irish?
favorite tech horror is the tech horror of PhD Tony and Professor Phil Bell trying to figure out how to use OBS. That was a tech horror right there.
That's just mean.
What do we got? What do we got? Let's get. Well, these boy. Okay, my favorite is motherfucking Killbots. Okay, aka
We talked about this.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
aka chopping mall. Okay,
Chopping
people call
Mall,
it chopping
yeah.
mall. It is also called Killbots. I call it Killbots because I think it's an awesome name. I love that one. That is my all-time favorite tech horror. So what's we got in here in the chat? We've got while these idiots are thinking about it. Sir Little says Virus was fun, and Virus was a decent little film. Not something amazing, but what they did as far as the puppetry goes with the kind of amalgamation of the robot, because it was the evil lightning came from space and turned all the robots sentient or whatever like this, but it was making all these robots combinations out of like humans and technology. That was kind of cool. I really dug that. It was almost like weirdly transhuman. I kind of dug that. Jessica G says Pulse was pretty good. Pulse was the one.
Actually, thought of Pulse, dude. Yeah.
Yep.
Does Stepford Wives count?
Stepford Wives does count, yes, because
There you
those
go.
were replicants of their wives.
Yep.
Pulse was the one with Kristen Bell about the ghost trying to come through broadband technology. Jessica G also says Demon Seed was pretty solid, and it was also a very, very good one. Have you guys come up with one? Eugene, I thought you would have said you love Cameron. I thought you would have said like Terminator or something.
Oh, also, see, I had was it Tietsu? The Tietsu Bullet Man that came out?
Tetsuo.
Yeah, Tetsuo Bullet Man.
Tetsuo, the Bullet Man. Nice, very cool.
A wild ride, though.
And Johnny.
I said Stepford Wives.
Oh, Stepford Wives. Okay. And Jeff Roberts in the chat says Videodrome.
Yes.
Cronenberg. There we go. Because we got abdomen vaginas to put VHS tapes in. Yep. That's pretty horrifying. God,
What did I miss?
Oh, we haven't good. Okay, Demon Irish, you are not ready for the Cronenberg shit that we can throw at you.
Oh, hold on.
You know what? Yes, he is.
Vagina, so I am there. I am fucking there.
No, you're not.
All
You're
right,
not there yet.
nope. He's asking for it. He's asked for it. He has asked for the pea soup. We will serve him the pea soup.
Jessica G,
Let's
do you
do
think
it.
you can stream Videodrome for Irish Demon to watch? I think Jessica G could set that up. You are
There you
in
go.
for a fucking treat, dude.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
He's
Move on
going
to
to come back and be like, I don't want to, guys, I hate you. I'm out.
He's gonna come back. He's gonna come back like Jay Bruchel did from Knocked Up when he snuck into the freaking birth room. I should have gone back there. Should have gone. Don't go back there. Tell me you won't go back there.
Should've got back there. Yeah, Sir Little Wolf says show him rabies. I could show him rabies.
There you go.
I could show him Raw, Audition, Ichi the Killer. There's a number of things we could
Yeah.
go through. The happiness of the categories.
Yep. Irish, you are going to leave mentally scarred.
Most
That's
likely.
okay. I'm already fucked up.
No.
This is true.
All right.
Ooh.
So you just
go
says we. What about the Ethan Hawke movie? Would that be considered one? I blanked on the name of the Ethan Hawke movie. Sinister. I think she might be talking about Sinister.
Sinister, really?
Or-
Would that be a?
I mean, there's that. I mean, it has the tapes in it, like the beta, the home movies, everything. Maybe.
I don't think she's talking about Senate, because even then you would start thinking like The Ring or something like that would fall in that
That's
category.
true.
Too. I just didn't-
Unless she means Day. Oh yeah, she is talking about Sinister. For a second, I thought she might be talking about Daybreakers, which is a vampire film.
Right.
All right, so we've got our next film coming up, and Eugene, you've got it, and I'm so glad I gave you this one.
So
I love setting the shit. I love setting the shit up. Hey, NA has joined the live chat. So good to see you, NA, one of our amazing patrons. Thank you, sir.
What's up, NA?
Good to see you.
Nah, 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 nah.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Oh shit! I'm gonna get fucking.
I always kind of read it as like nah,
Nah, nah, nah.
nah.
Nah, nah, nah. You didn't say the magic word. Nah, nah, nah.
You'll never get this. You'll never get this. Nah, 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 nah. Anyway,
All right.
some of you out there will get that.
Eugene, what do we got?
So we have a movie. That's completely free on YouTube.
So we have a movie.
Every time we go, we get the list of the films, and I'm like, I'll go and I'll rent or Hulu, Netflix, whatever, and stuff like that. I was like, okay, if I find it for free on YouTube,
You know it's bad.
I already know what I'm
You know it's bad.
He's like Ron Burgundy. Oh, this was a bad choice.
Milk was a bad choice.
Night Feeders was a bad choice.
Yeah.
So we have Night Feeders that came out December 29th, 2006, right? There's not even a Wikipedia page for it, if you want to look at the no.
There isn't.
There's barely an IMDb thing for this.
Yeah, it's like too fucking. Yeah, the IMDb thing is photos, cast, and that's it.
That's
They
it.
don't watch-
And most
they
of
don't watch
the
it.
pictures.
Jessica G says Night Feeders, aka Dale, Jeb, and Cletus save America. It's so true. It's so true.
It is. So you have it directed by Jet Eller, and it stars Donnie Evans and some other people.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Go figure it out.
You've never heard of these
Fuck
people
the
before,
fact
and
that
you want to hear about
fuck
them again.
the fact that they gave their all for these performances. Fuck the fact that they were really proud of this movie. There were some other people in it.
Were
Yeah,
they?
there are some other people. Wait, Brent Gentel, Mike Montezita, Michael Ruff,
I don't know
and Kate Lee.
I don't know who these people are.
Exactly.
And
You know why
I'm
you don't know who these
sorry.
people are? Because they don't even know who they are anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, one of the images for this film is a DVD cover on IMDb. Somebody just opened the DVD cover.
Nobody took still shots during production. Like normally a production has something that goes.
And this
back
wasn't.
and-
This was a mid 2000s movie. This is not like an old film.
Yeah, it's 06.
Yeah.
It's only 14 years old.
Yeah, only 14
Yeah.
years old.
I described
They were doing
this
stills back
movie
then.
To, I described this movie to JL as a porno without the sex. The music was there, the camera work was there, but like it was just like I was like, when are they going to start smashing? Because any video I've like, like in the early noughties when I was a teenager and you know, and you get your hands on some of these dirty old porno videos, with the cover stuck together, and you turn it on and it's like, oh no, we're all alone in the woods, and then the monster comes out and starts doing dirty stuff, and it's just like, where's the fucking? But like all aside, right? I thought the direction was really clever in it because the way they hid the not so great monster suit or CGI or whatever way they did it, I'm not sure. The way they hid it was actually quite well done because I guess with a limited budget, you're gonna have to hide some of the inadequacies, and I think they actually did a really good job of not showing the monster too much. But the story itself, you could just swap that monster out for, I don't know, a Sam Squamch or some other random big cat or. And it seemed to me like all the other kind of running around the woods type movies out there. But I like the fact that, again, though, like the hero ended up being this kind of Cletus type character, not the most attractive looking man in the world. No disrespect to him. He got the girl. And yeah, it was okay. It wasn't awful. It just wasn't great. But like at the beginning where she's like, oh, our TV's gone off, and he's like, I'm just fixing this truck, and I'm like, this is going to be one of those kind of overacted movies. I've got to say, the CGI at the start of the satellite being hit by the meteorite was incredibly good. I could not tell that from
That was their whole
live
budget.
images.
They
It
put
was
a whole bunch
awesome.
of that, yeah. I'll tell you the
And
thing
I
that
have been
the thing that shocked me, the thing that struck me when I saw this come up, and I said we had to talk about it because earlier in the show, I think it was in season 1, we actually talked about a film called Altered, which was the second film directed by the director of the one of the directors of the Blair Witch Project. So his second movie was a film called Altered, which was almost identical to this one. It was four friends, four kind of like redneck, down on their luck, trailer trash friends who like to go out with guns and drink beer in the woods and try to hunt shit and whatever.
Brett Kavanaugh.
And yeah, exactly. And they wind up capturing it. Basically, they go out. There's an abduction. One of their friends gets abducted. They all get abducted, but only there's 5 of them, but only 4 of them survive. Or there's 4 of them, only 3 of them survive. One of their friends dies. So the next year, they go out there and they actually manage to capture one of the aliens to get revenge for their friend's death. And of course, everything goes to fucking shit. That movie was amazing. The alien was fantastic. The effects of what they were able to pull off in such minimal, because it's pretty much the trailer, the garage, and a couple other places. But that one was well acted, well designed. The story was strong, and the effects were really, really decent. This alien being what it was. It was a vicious little shit in that one. And that movie came out, I shit you not, 10 days before Night Feeders came out. Same year.
Oh, rough.
Same year, 2006. Altered came out 10 days before this one did. And it just goes to show the choices that you can make. If you put these two films side to side, they are eerily similar.
Was that done on purpose?
Say again, Eugene?
But you can tell the difference in quality in the decision. It's like the same premise. It's almost like you gave 2 directors similar scripts or almost identical scripts and be like, all right, make a film and then just showcase what you've got. And you can tell the difference.
Now, we'll say this. There is an appeal to Z-grade horror, which is definitely what Night Feeders. Who came up with that title? I guess because they feed at night, I guess.
Yep. By the way, JL, I was waiting for my spot to give the appeal of Z-grade horror line.
Oh, shit.
I'm supposed to kick it to you.
Huh?
I'm supposed to kick it to you.
No, I kick it to you.
No, a successful. What makes successful Z-grade horror? That's mine.
That one is yours.
But you need to talk about.
But you talked about the appeal.
No, I didn't. I talked about the comparison between the movies.
Back it up.
It's like a soccer game and no one wants the ball.
Yep, exactly what's going on here.
So the appeal of Z-grade horror films.
Yes, Z-grade horror films does have an appeal, as Sir Little Wolf has said. And I love bad horror movies. There does seem to be a draw to it.
There really does. There's a whole. I mean, there's like the whole cult following stuff. When it comes to bad horror films. Who was it? I think it was Daniel Radcliffe was on an episode of Hot Ones talking about how he'll go out and search for B or worse horror films or B films or worse films just in general, because there's a weird like passion project stuff that goes on with that. You know what I mean? Because you find these actors or directors or producers or whoever who've not really had the success, and they do things a little different, which may be why they're shitty films. But I don't know. Some of them are like, if you look at Lloyd Kaufman, that guy definitely puts out
Z-grade.
Good. Yeah.
Maybe what's after Z? Exclamation point? Question
I think it's when we get to like the AA.
Oh yeah. Then it's like, okay, if it goes to like AA, then it's like ZZ film.
Right.
Like Poltergeist? Come on.
Oh, that was, but it's great.
Poltergeist is amazing.
It's exactly right. I mean, it's that whole idea that Lloyd Kaufman is making films that he wants to make, and he's doing it the way he wants to do it.
When you got a Mexican character named Taco Bell,
yeah,
and you've got a lesbian character named Arby's.
Yep.
Yeah.
For all the there's a visual element.
Oh shit! It just hit me. See, I don't know anything about your American ways, your American foods and such. Mean nothing to me. But
do you know why Arby's is called Arby's?
I do not.
Because it's the initials of what goes in their sandwiches, roast beef.
No way.
Yep.
Did you just blow his fucking mind?
You just blew my mind, sir. That's amazing. I had no idea.
We're informative.
So
The podcast.
I don't think I've ever been to an Arby's actually.
There, it's
You're not missing much.
No, if you do,
Sorry, Mrs. Demon.
If you do, your asshole will be a horror show.
I've been there. I've been there a few times. Yeah, but, like I'm super excited to try like proper American food.
No, you're not. It's just a bunch of salt, sugar, and filler.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's more chemical. It's more chemical than anything else.
Yeah.
Some of those chemicals taste delicious, though.
They do. It's true.
Some of them are delicious.
Yeah.
So
I
will say there for the Z grade horror films, the really, I mean, so like Johnny was brilliant bringing it up, like anything out of Tromaville. So you look at Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High, Poultrygeist, Romeo and Juliet. Anything out of their camp, I would say. Anything out of the Full Moon, I would say puts it like Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys. Definitely Z horror. I mean, they cast Corey Feldman. What do you want?
The Ghoulies.
So, the Ghoulies, Hobgoblins, Troll.
Yeah.
Troll I wouldn't call Z because Troll actually, you can see the effort they put in. Troll 2 was definitely Z.
Troll 2.
Oh yeah.
Troll 2 was Z horror. So, but there is a weird. I mean, there's certain elements that make them successful. That it's not just that there's just like this weird appeal. We have to see something so bad that it's good, or even something that's so bad. We can see watching actors, watching a director, watching everybody try so hard to fail so badly. You don't know if it's intentional. You don't know if it's not. So, but yeah, there is this really love for Z horror film, but there are elements that make them successful. You have camera work that you see throughout the whole thing. It's either like excessive shaky cam or bad camera angles or overuse of things like Dutch angles and techniques like that. You have bad effect, just overall cheesy effects. Sometimes so cheesy you got to wonder if it was on purpose.
So sometimes, and me, because I'm an avid film, I love bad films. I do. I've seen Manos, Hands of Fate probably 20, 30 times. I love showing that film to people.
I'm Torgo. I watched the battle while the mask goes away. Sir Little Wolf says Chud. So Little Wolf in the chat, he said Chud.
Bullets don't affect Manos. They just make him out of focus. But anyways, but the one thing I love,
I wish those big hands would just push him over.
But the one thing I love about, like, when you talk about these like Z grade bad films just in general, is it's the shock value, because you can't believe what you're watching. And so if you take, say, something that's like super grotesque, and it's like the shocking element, like you watch it for that shock. That's the same thing with the bad movie. Like we're watching for Christmas, we're watching some Samurai Cop.
There you go.
That film that we're watching for Christmas, and the part where he's like, he speaks fluent Japanese. What does katana mean? Sword. Like,
it means
that
Japanese
stuff
sword.
Is awesome.
Yeah.
You know what it brings to mind? What brings my Lair of the White Worm.
Lair of the White Worm.
Nobody's seen that but me. That's
Wait,
fucking scary.
Didn't Mystery Science Theater 3000 do a spoof on that one? Not a spoof, but they wasn't that one of their films?
Oh yeah, that was covered at MC3K, but it was Hugh Grant's first movie.
I mean, what was it called?
The Lair of the White Worm.
He just told you.
Oh, that was the actual title.
That's the title of the movie.
I'm gonna need you to start paying attention, Eugene. Okay.
Horrible title.
It's a terrible title.
Yeah. Well, I mean, take a look at. So you got like new age Z horror. Like, look at Sharknado. Look how fucking popular that shit was.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's 5 of them.
6.
And that's become. Oh, there's 6 now. And
Yeah.
you're talking about the success of like Birdemic
Oh,
that has gone. He's trying to make a Birdemic 3. He's trying really hard.
and then of course, I dig what Full Moon does. There is some love for Full Moon in the in the chat. Full Moon Entertainment. They're the ones that do the Demonic Toys series. They do obviously the Puppet Master series. There are some others that they do that sometimes they do take their horror a little more seriously. They do produce some decent stuff, but there is their schlock. I mean, hell, there's like 19 fucking films in the Puppet Master series. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's getting up. It's getting up.
I think it's 15. I think it's
like
15.
But
Legitimately, I think it's 15.
It has seen a new revival with the Puppet Master: The Littlest Reich, and now the Blade spin-off film. Like, how does the one puppet get a spin-off? I don't fucking know. But man,
He's the most popular one, though.
Full Moon is gonna explore that shit. I mean, and of course, I think the Asylum also specializes because the Asylum works very heavily with sci-fi, and a lot of their stuff premieres in sci-fi. Like, what was that one? Piranha Conda.
I've seen so many. It could be there's like 3-headed piranha and piranha and the Amazon.
I know that there was a 3-headed shark, a 4-headed shark, a 5-headed shark, a 6-headed shark, and a 7. I think, and then a 7-headed shark. And then
I think it's just a 6-headed shark.
It's up to 6, and then there's Sharktopus.
Yeah.
There's Ghost Shark.
Ghost Shark. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's Irish Shark.
Oh, he But yeah, there's a lot of love for Z-grade horror. So I mean, it's always going to be there. I'm so glad that it's still around. Well, we get stuff like like Humanoids from the Deep. There's still individuals that are in that kind of Corman-esque mentality.
I think Irish is about to fall out of his chair.
That want to bring us some of the best stuff that's out there. So really, really dig it.
Irish, did you mute yourself?
I don't know.
Okay.
Irish? Can't hear you if you're talking.
Irish is muted. That's all good. That's all good. Eugene, what's our CTA?
Oh yeah. So speaking of Z-grade horror films, and I actually want to ask the audience.
Zombies. Somebody mentioned zombies. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh yeah, Zombie and Zombie.
Zombies and zombie beavers. Yeah, or was it?
Yeah, it's just Zombievers.
Zombievers. That was it.
Zombievers, yeah.
So I want to ask everybody, what is your favorite Z-grade horror film? Mine might have to be Zombies versus Navy SEALs, and the Navy SEALs are horribly out of shape. Like the guys run up the stairs like out of breath. I'm like, I don't think he's a really Navy SEAL type.
No,
Okay.
you're good.
Let's see here. I would have to say.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to hear about your penis.
Oh, sorry.
Johnny, what is your favorite Z horror?
I don't know. Maybe probably Poultrygeist.
Poltergeist, sweet.
Yeah.
Mine, I'd have to say, is Cthulhu Mansion. And I know not a lot of people have seen that. I highly recommend you look it up. It's called Cthulhu Mansion. It's about a bunch of teenagers that steal some drugs and are running away from the drug dealer's partner. And they wind up hiding in this mansion where the owner of the mansion is attempting to summon the old ones and shit. It is so laughably bad. It is so terrible, but absolutely hilarious. So definitely check that out. So Cthulhu Mansion is definitely up there.
Irish, you still muted?
No.
He's good.
Says,
Okay, good.
Sir Little Wolf says One of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, for sure, Return of the Living Dead. Oh,
I liked Return of the Living Dead. I don't know if I call it a Z grade horror though.
I actually wouldn't call it Z myself. Oh, Jeff Roberts would say J.M. Truth zombie movie. Is that Z? That's like triple Z.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. All right, man.
All right.
We got one more.
Let's close this out. Yes, let's close this out. We have one more.
One more. Oh, yeah, that's me, isn't it? So, 1987.
Best for last.
The best. Oh, this one definitely is the best.
Oh,
Speaking
yeah.
of, we've got Street Trash. It's an American black comedy body horror film directed by J. Michael Morrow. Let's see, directed by J. Morrow, written by Roy Frumkes, starring Mike Lackey, R.L. Ryan, and Vic Noto. So the owner of a liquor store in Brooklyn, New York, finds a case of cheap acidic booze, generally called anything mixed by McCormick.
Viper.
Yeah, 1005 Viper.
Anything.
It's more than 60 years old and has gone bad. I don't think that's how that works. But he sells it to some local hobos, and one of them who drinks it melts away in hideous fashion.
That of him, he melts while sitting on the toilet.
Yep, while on the toilet, yeah. So he's taking a shit. He's taking a shit,
I have
and
been
he's
there. This is how I felt after the Reaper squeezins.
I tell you, I got it right here. This shit.
Yeah, I know. I saw it over your shoulder earlier, and I was like, "Ugh, the memories." Oh man, that was a melt horror. My ass was like a Japanese flag after that, man. It was brutal.
So I gotta ask. So Demon, this is obviously the most extreme of the movies we had you watch.
Yep.
And I know
it was bizarre, man.
I know you have no experience with what is referred to as the melt film, the melt movies.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
So give us your take.
So I first of all, I was like, off the top, I was like, that seems a bit much. Like, I don't know about you, but does alcohol really go bad? Like, not to the point where people melt to the fucking ground, but
no.
It was the grossest one of the lot. Like when the guy is up on the fire escape and he starts melting and his ass melts onto the floor and a guy just looks right up and gets it right in the grill. And the cop is such a typical 80s cop, and a woman is coming over. She's like, "Oh my God, help him." And he's like, "Stand back, broad." And it's like, oh my God. It was just so like, it's just like, "So what do we got here, Buck?" And it's like, oh, Jesus, this is painful, man. But it was just weird. Yeah, the cop irritated me. It was like, oh man, he was just too slapstick for my liking. But then you had the homeless vets and all that stuff. That was pretty fun. That was like an interesting. I like dystopian type stuff, so that was pretty cool for me. But yeah, all in all, it was a bit slow for me.
I was really afraid that you were going to get the urge to irk.
What's that mean?
The urge to regurge.
I came close a few times. Like that part where the guy got it in the face, I was like, that is that's gross. Like, I don't mind scary stuff, but gross stuff really just I can't do it. I don't know what it is. And like in my line of work over the last few years, like I've had feces thrown at me and other bodily fluids that one does not like to get thrown at them. Well, most don't like to get thrown at them. I'm sure some
call
do.
you Agent Starling.
I'm looking at Donald Trump here, like kind of pissing on a glass table kind of situation. But...
So next up for Irish Demon, Dead Alive.
Yo boy.
Dinner scene.
Well, I will. Fucking
Yep.
hell. So there is a gory kind of glory to melt films. Now, melt movies, sometimes you wouldn't even you might not even classify them as horror. I mean, it's horrific watching the way people will melt on film, the way they melt people. So I would say it does classify. It's a deep subgenre because films like this are typically the focus of the film is how we're going to melt people. And story often takes a very far back seat. To the effects of what we're going to do. So all the money is going to go into the effects just to get the most revolting kind of like response out of the audience. Now, some larger budget films, like The Blob, is a melt film. Especially the 1988 remake, because we physically get to see people getting like distorted, like melted into the blob itself. But Cronenberg played a lot with this, with the idea of people like morphing, or like another major one was Society, was a really, really gross one. But I think there's something wild, and of course, watching people do this, watching this happening to the human body, there is a dark fascination with, I guess, with human anatomy and the way we're put together, and seeing those things either coming out or liquefying out, or of course in street trash, coming out in a variety of colors, blues and oranges and yellows. Why these things exist, I have no fucking clue. And why it was like, I take a sip and then it just happens. And then I start falling apart. Or as the one big fat guy did, he just exploded. But yeah, there is a kind of appeal to it. It's a much loved subgenre by a very niche audience. So not a lot of people dig it, because they can get really, really, really gruesome. Just the way that we can, what we can do to people can, like Ira said, almost made him sick to his stomach. So there was some effect of that in the movie Dead Alive. I mentioned that earlier. You get to see some of the fact is, the humans, like the zombies, like decomposing and stuff like that. But yeah, otherwise, there's sometimes silly fun, and like I said, story kind of takes a backseat. So I think the film had elements of a mafia film, of a police investigation, of it was so strange, like it didn't know what it wanted to be.
Yeah, it did seem.
They just wanted to melt people.
Yeah, that's the effect.
I mean, that's it right there.
I mean, why fuck around? That's what we want to do.
They wanted to melt people. Now, one of the things I do appreciate about this film is like the use of its practical effects, and they went in. Though it doesn't seem as way, they put a lot of time and effort to designing this stuff. So the person who was in charge of it, her name is Jennifer Aspinall, and she actually did the special effects on Toxic Avenger also.
Okay. That explains a lot.
So you can kind of see some of the differences. And even like in the first meltdown scene, they ended up using 4 different locations and an oversized toilet to get that effect.
So you get the effect of him in the toilet,
So getting him in the toilet. So there was a specially built oversized toilet that they ended up using for it. So they did put a lot of time and effort into crafting a lot of those practical effects, because when you watch a melt film, that's what you want to see.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want to see.
Now I know that I know that because people are going for the effects, people are going for the gross out. But there's one thing that I did notice, and I kind of wanted to talk about while we Sir Little Wolf, the fly definitely goes in there, especially when he's falling apart. It's pretty horrific. The one thing that got me was, it wasn't so much the fact that it's the melt film itself, or the effects of people melting and it being all disgusting and gross, like when the chick is like running her hands up into her chest as her tits are melting off. It was how fucking 80s this movie was, and I'm not talking the good stuff. I'm not talking like the Lethal Weapon good stuff of 80s or anything like that. It was everything bad in the 80s. It actually shocked me a little bit, because being aware of what we are societally, of what we are now, everything that every negative stereotype of anybody was in this film. I mean, there was swinging at feminism, racism, homelessness, police brutality, homophobia, derogatory imagery of Vietnam veterans, the mentally ill. I mean, and what was the conversation, Eugene? What was the conversation that the chick had when the guy had the shit on his face, and the girl was like, "You have to help him." He's like, "Get out of the way, bro," or it's like, "Stand back, bro."
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Stand back, you.
Stand back, bro. Get out of the way, bro. Yeah.
So the guy is melting right there, blah, on the deal, and they stop to have a conversation about what he might do. Did anybody else pick up on that? Yes?
Yeah, 100%. It was one of my main pickups, actually, from the movie. He was more interested in telling the broad to get in her place than he was to actually help the fucking
Yeah,
guy.
help the fucking
It
dude.
was like,
He's mentioned like Weiss, Weiss, you could probably rape me and stuff like this, and then making off comments of this is the problem with feminism. So there was a lot of really. It wasn't then. I mean, obviously the 80s were a different time.
Yeah.
But in this society today, this shit would not fly, whatsoever.
No. But even in a film like this, they're there to push the envelope. That's what it is. We're going to show people melting, and we're going to showcase these stereotypes, because you can heavy stereotype people and you can kill them off in a gruesome way and no one feels bad. If everybody was nice and super friendly and got along and stuff, then you would feel bad for everybody. Oh yeah, he told her to go fuck off, and then he's melting like 30 minutes later. Like, yeah, that guy deserves it because he said one bad thing in his life. Let him melt away.
Right.
I mean, that's just that's how it felt.
The legitimate debate. Well, I mean, and of course, there was also the gang rape murder scene by the homeless. The chick that the protagonist brings home. There was just so much atrocious shit in this, and not having anything to do with any kind of plot. I think they just threw it. I think Eugenio's right. In movies like this, they throw whatever they can at the wall and make everybody completely and totally irredeemable, so that when we do see them melt, we cheer it on, and we really, really do enjoy it. Yeah, it's funny. That's why I think every homeless person that melted in this acted like an asshole at some point.
Yeah.
Either they treated the liquor store guy like shit by insulting him or talking shit to him, or they attacked each other, or they beat somebody else up, or something of that nature. So it makes sense. So we can cheer along when we watch them dissolve into a cornucopia of color.
Hey, my camera keeps switching off. I'm not sure what's going on there. I might need to go out and back in again, actually, JL. Just FYI, I'm just down to my last half hour because I got to go pick up Mrs. Demon at about 12:15. So just so you know, I'll be right back.
Well, good.
Well, that's
because here we are talking about.
We can jump straight to the CTA. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, that's where I was going. So, speaking of melt films, what's your favorite melt film? Let us know in the side chat. Whoa,
He's muted.
There? Who's muted?
Love it when we're muted on the show.
Who's muted?
This is what happens when you're live.
I know.
Nobody's
Johnny,
muted.
You are muted.
I am not muted. Nope.
Cannot hear you.
Well, I don't know why.
John,
I'm like the fucking door knocker in Labyrinth.
I'm telling you.
Irish Demon, you're good. Johnny?
Yeah, you guys can't hear me?
Well, meanwhile, as Johnny is trying to figure out how to mute or unmute that, I'd like to ask the audience, what is your favorite melt film? There's quite a few of them out there. I mean, just people melting. A lot of just straight up body horror films. What is your favorite melt film?
Oh, Sir Little Wolf brings up the stuff.
I'm gonna go Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Everybody was able to hear me.
There you go.
You guys. I've been talking.
We heard you. Oh no, we saw you. We saw you talking, but none of us could hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody else could.
Oh, that was
See,
weird.
everybody says they can hear you, except me. I mean, except you.
Technology.
What are you doing over there?
I'm not doing anything except running this show. Right into a bridge impugnant.
Right into a brick wall. Oh God! I wonder how that's going to come out in the fucking audio.
It's gonna be awesome.
That's going to be amazing. Holy shit! So yes, melt films, man. Melt films are fucking crazy. Some people have the stomach for them. Some people do not. I don't think Irish Demon had the stomach for this one at all. So
nope.
So it was so good to stick him in front of something really, really graphic. It's when he eventually returns, we're gonna really fuck with him, because now he's initiated. Now we're gonna dump some really gross shit on him. So
All right,
it's gonna be a lot of fun. Goddamn. So I think it's time, because Irish Demon is running low. So we got to do our trivia question. Who's ready to do the trivia question? I know I am.
Do it.
So,
Do it.
So this is for a limited edition Week in Horror t-shirt and a Week in Horror official coffee mug.
Can I answer it?
No, you can't answer it.
Damn.
You already have these things.
I have the mug.
You want the t-shirt? You know where to get the t-shirt.
I know. That's why I asked you to
All
roll
right.
over so I could get
So,
the t-shirt.
The trivia question. You're ready? I hope you were listening. I know PhD Tony was fucking listening. PhD Tony is 2-0 for trivia. Trivia question. What horror film anthology released in 1990 and starred Christian Slater and Deborah Harry? I'll say it again. What horror film anthology released in 1990 and starred Christian Slater and Deborah Harry? First correct answer in the chat, in the live chat that we see, wins official Week in Horror limited edition t-shirt and an official Week in Horror coffee mug shipped directly to you. We'll get your shipping details afterwards. And just so whoever's first up in there, come on. Who's got it?
Who has it? You're not allowed to use Google.
You're most certainly allowed.
We did mention it earlier.
You're relegated to the web crawler.
Oh, hang on, Demon.
The web crawler was at kind of like, okay, whenever they were shooting movies, they didn't have the licensing rights to use like Google or any other major browser. They would put up like a fake screen that was just designed, and it would say like web crawler on it.
Or some shit like that.
There you go.
Tina Jones with
Yep.
the correct answer. That movie is Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. Oh, a historical philosopher, right on her tail. Tales from the Dark Side.
Congratulations, Tina.
Yeah. Tina Jones takes this one home. Tina, weekinhorror@gmail.com. Shoot us, or hit us up in the Discord. Shoot us your shipping details, and we will get you your official limited edition t-shirt and Week in Horror coffee mug. Thank you so much. That was awesome. And Dark Steve missed it. Blame team. Well, you should have been here, Dark Steve. But I know I'm going to see you over there in the theater when Jessica G begins her next big ass horror marathon. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that should be really cool. So thank you so much. Congratulations, Tina. I cannot wait to see what we're going to give away next as we go into 2021. So man,
We're gonna give away one of Irish Demon's extra scrotum sacks.
Yes, I will be. They fall off like every couple of weeks. So I'll dry one out and send it to whoever wants one. Or if you need it urgently, you can get it in powdered form from PhD Tony through our joined OnlyFans account.
Yep.
You all know where to find it.
PH gives Irish the D Tony.
Putting the D in demon.
There it is.
okay, dope. Eugene?
All right. Well, a huge thank you to Irish Demon for being the first victim of our Abattoir. And before we close it out, is there anything coming up for you that you would like to shill out to our audience?
I generally just put out kind of random content. I usually put something out every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Like yesterday was a huge day in the debunker kind of world, so I put out about 3 videos yesterday. I'm actually doing a remake of some of my oldest videos that have like 20 views to bring some of that stuff forward. So I'm doing a music video collection of beautiful flat earth music like themes and stuff like that Flat Earthers have put out over the past couple of months. So yeah, that should be coming up in about 8 or 9 hours time. So I guess morning time, America time, I guess, something like that. And yeah, I've got my Christmas stream on Christmas Day, 9 p.m. Straya time. And my mom is coming on the stream, and maybe my brother as well, which would be awesome. So really looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. Yeah, but thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, pleasure. And of course, to our audience out there, the Week in Horror Abattoir, we came up with this idea because with the stuff that's going on outside, schedules are very, very tight. Sometimes we weren't always able to secure an industry guest for the show. But instead of trying to like scramble and put them together last minute, we wanted to have a backup idea. So the Weekend Horror Abattoir will either alternate every once in a while. It won't be every single month, but we will fill it in if we cannot secure an industry guest to come onto the show with us. So hopefully next month we will have that. But if we don't have an industry guest, we're putting someone else through the Abattoir. We're going to grind them up Weekend Horror style. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned to that.
Yes. All right. Well, that brings another episode of Weekend Horror to a close. Thank you all so much for listening, and we truly hope you enjoyed the show. As always, you can visit us at weekendhorror.net, where you can find links to all of our episodes, our bios, our merch store at Teespring, and of course, in your email for a permanent entry to win a mystery horror shirt every month. For more horror entertainment, be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Followers get our daily splatter, a bit of horror info every day, right to your feed. You never know what you may discover. We recently moved Weekend Horror to a live format, and we love to get your feedback. And of course, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell for the latest updates about the show. And lastly, if you truly love what we do here and you like and are able to support our production, you can go through our PayPal or our Patreon. We have Patreon tiers as low as $1, bonus and exclusive content, and horror films every month. Links to everything, including our new Discord community where you can find film recommendations, trailers, trivia games, and even interact with us directly, are below. But we know that these are trying times and things are extremely tight. And as simply liking and sharing this show to your local horror community is always the absolute best way to help us continue to grow. We appreciate each and every one of you for your continued listenership. Thank you so much, and I'm Eugene.
I'm Johnny O.
I'm JL, wishing all of you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a wonderful New Year. We will see you on the next episode.
And as always, stay scared.